Like not in excess, but
Yeah. So,
okay.
anyways, welcome everyone to Galactic Gumbo, the topic show. This is episode 3, and if you haven't checked out our other shows, definitely go check those out. They're entertaining. We always talk about different topics, so not one show is going to be the same as the other. So, anyways, thanks a lot for joining us. A lot of people here in the live chat already. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning into the live show. It's obviously going to be in video form after that. We just aired and also went in video form Cybercast, so that is available on my YouTube page on Hextron. But anyways, let's get into some introductions. So we'll start off with my Cybercast co-host, Dakota. Why don't you tell people where they can
Hey,
find you and you get anything cool this week?
blah blah blah, Primal Sabbath, and I picked up uh the Titans Return Voyager Sentinel Prime, and I can't remember if I got Impactor last week or the week before last, but I got the Mastermind Creations Impactor.
I think you got that.
Yeah, I can't remember when I got it. I know it's new, so there's that.
All right, Dalton, what about you, man?
I'm Don. You can pretty much find me everywhere at Daltonian CFs, and this week, I'm kind of in a surprise. As an early 21st birthday gift, my mom got me a new laptop.
Nice.
Nice.
That, and not so much something I got, but something I did. Dakota, thank you for your planogram, I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's cool, man. I'm here to help people out that want to do it to the, paint up their figures. That's what I do.
Something I did extra was I painted little white lines there on the nose.
Yeah.
A
Cool.
little bit more.
Mike, what about you, man?
Mike, you can find me on basically Facebook under Mike Tennell, or you can find me on TFW as Autobot City Comics 08, or his tank as G.I. Joe Comics 08. This week, I got in.
You got Twitter.
I got Twitter, BotConFan 1978, for all the haters who hate BotCon, I guess.
Showing your age, huh?
Showing my age. I got sadly, I got most of the stuff I got this week because we went to Disney was Toy Story related. I have a Buzz and a Woody and all kinds of that kind of stuff. But I have this specifically. I went to Coda to see what I found, and maybe now you can take yours back.
Oh, nice. Where'd you get it at?
Place down in Fort Lauderdale. He had a whole bunch of Beast Wars card at like $20.
Damn,
But
appreciate
he's
that phone call.
he's a nice. You didn't answer the other one. Shut up, Dakota. Shut up. You didn't answer the last time I called you. I have picked up a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A lot of junk here, a lot of junk there. My wife can't stand me getting. One thing I'll have next week, Dakota, you'll be super happy. I only have to tell you what it is.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
be here Wednesday.
You texted me. You told me.
Yeah, Wednesday they'll be here, and it'd be
Oh,
nice
yeah.
if you came up next Friday night for the party and
Oh,
come up and
man.
hang out.
That's pushing it. I would like to.
Do
I
what
would
now?
like to rebuttal the phone call thing, though. Like, dude, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm
It
sleeping.
was afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sleeping.
That's when I sleep too,
Yeah.
the afternoon. All right, and Rick, what about you, man?
You can find me on Twitter as Shatterglass Jazz. As far as what I got this week, I got the Titan Masters Wave 2. I got the X-Men Legends assortment and the Make Toys Vulcan. And then I got some supplies. I'm in the middle of redoing how I keep my old Joes. This is probably a result of Mike selling me the Pythona Club figure. So I went back through all my Joes, which I hadn't looked at in a few years, and I think I'd been talking about the Ziplocs to some of you guys. And anyway, I replaced all the Ziplocs because I found 5 figures that were indeed deteriorated from the acid in Ziplocs. But that's okay. It wasn't a big deal. So I had like 60 of them were just fine. I caught them in time. So anyway, I ordered some O-rings and some plastic cases for those, and I've been tweeting about it if anybody's looking for better ways to store your figures. I'm going to try to do more of that. I've been educating myself a little bit more on that stuff now that my collection's getting older.
What
For
about your Boston beans?
the real quick for the people that are wanting to do the same thing, where did you go to get those bags?
So the gtzip.com, I believe, was the website, and
Okay.
they have a bunch of bags. You want to look for the ultra clear. When you get to that category, there's like 12 choices or more. There's a ton of stuff on there. And I also did the little small ProTech loose figure cases, and I just bought some of those on Amazon fairly cheap. And they're nice. I think they're really nice too.
Okay. What were you saying, Mike?
I was asking about his Boston beans he posted on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I love those. I found those at where was it? Oh, Walgreens. I went in Walgreens. I have to,
Oh,
start
okay.
practicing so I can know my Walgreens for the brainstorm because that's what they do now.
Boston beans, are those like little California raisins?
No, they're like it's like peanuts with like candy coating. It's sort of like goobers,
Boston
but
baked
instead of
beans.
yeah, Boston baked beans. Yeah, yeah. So I just
Uh,
posted that in my haul. That was part of my haul.
Oh, okay, food.
That's
Okay,
part of
I
his,
get it.
that's why I
Oh my
said that.
God.
That's why I said that. He posted the pictures of it.
Thank God
Yeah,
I'm not the only one.
Hey,
Dakota. Yeah,
real quick,
I do that.
Impossible Pie. He wants to know. He's like, acid in Ziploc bags. He's not really sure, what you mean. So, you want to maybe kind of give kind of the short explanation on it?
Science. I started Googling it because I had heard a few people talking about it. If you just Google Ziploc bags or how do you store your action figures, you can find a ton of stuff. There's a lot to read, but basically all the Ziplocs from that you might find like in a grocery store, or, wherever, they all have acid in them and over. That's just like sort of like comic books, which makes a lot of sense, but I never really put the two together. I've been storing my comic books and acid-free bags and boards since I was like 12, but I had not put two and two together about action figures because you get action figures, whether it's Star Wars or G.I. Joes, they all have tons of accessories, and the closest thing to you to get is a Ziploc. So I've been doing it for years, and I am trying to back out of that now. It's going to take months to do. I haven't gone through my Star Wars stuff yet, but my Joes I feel good about.
All right, and as far as myself, you can find me G1Hextron on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. My Facebook page is the G1Hextron. As far as this week, I'm basically just kind of been saving up and selling off a lot just to get ready for the next couple weeks because it's going to be SDCC stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I think there's like $600 worth of stuff coming off of just pre-orders. So. Really huge end of the month. But I did finally get the extra Psy for the Walgreens or Walmart exclusive Ninja Turtles Wrath. I found another one and I bought it and I was like, look, I just needed the Psy. I bought one earlier from y'all and it only had one, so they were like, all right, whatever. So I'm happy to get that. So now my figure's complete. Before we get into the topics that I had, Rick, you had some to kind of start us off. I
Sure.
believe they're toy related as well.
Yeah, I'll go with I know this group. I think I saw most everybody at. I don't know about Dalton, but I think you were there. BotCon. So with BotCon come and gone, this is the last one, and no real official final word on what's going to take place next year as far as an official convention. What is it that you guys would like for the next official convention to offer you? What are the things that are important to you about an official Transformers convention?
Well, I guess I'll go first. The exclusive figures are definitely nice, and don't get me wrong, I love getting freaking 15 toys out of BotCon, but I also like the older days whenever it was just a couple of exclusives. Let them be original characters. None of this what we're getting with SDCC. Like those are poor excuses of exclusives, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So original characters or obscure characters. Something that we just won't see. Some fresh ideas type stuff. Maybe alternate universe type stuff. Comic book fiction. That's all a huge plus. The option for that golden ticket experience. I think FunPub did a great job with that. It added more to it, and I feel like the value was there. So that also, I don't want to have to pay for freaking autographs if I'm, pre-registering. So that's a nice deal too. And even then, like if you had to buy the autograph band at BotCon, it was still $25 for all the guests, which was just great. Um, but yeah, just do everything like Fun Publications did, and that's what I want.
It's not going to happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. Forget that.
Yeah, I know. I have very low hopes for the next,
Okay.
kind of Transformers show. But maybe they do a club. Hopefully they do a club, and we'll just see what happens.
I've been to, let's see, 3 BotCons, and they were all even numbers. So I went to 12, 14, and 16. I gotta say that my favorite was probably 14 because they had the experience that was included in your pre-registration, or whatever package you decided to get, and that allowed you to go to where do we go?
Universal.
Universal. I was gonna
Universal
say
Studios.
Disneyland, but yeah, Universal Studios, which I have never been there before, so I thought that was cool, and that was something that I was like, since I'm going to this place, this is something there close. I would like to go do that. To where if it was in New York, I would like to go, just kind of like do like a sightseeing thing. I'd like to go to the Statue of Liberty and take me down Chinatown. Just all the places that were, for the most part, safe, I guess you could say.
They do tours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that that one there in Pasadena, man, that was special with the Universal Studio.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not talking about the small tours like the one they had in Louisville where it was like, here's the Jim Beam tour. I was like, oh, that was like, I guess, kind of cool. I wasn't really big into it because I don't drink bourbon, so it was educational. But did I have as much fun there as I did Universal Studios? No,
Oh, no.
so.
But I think
Like
I
in
think
Dallas, if they went to Six Flags, you know what I'm saying, and that was
Yeah.
included in the pre-registration. So you do something like that, I think would be a lot of fun. I'd like to see stuff like that.
I was
be a
gonna say
staple.
this year we had like the Fourth Street Live thing, and that was open
Yeah.
to everyone. I mean, that wasn't really included in registration, but yeah, I think more stuff like that would be cool, like more events.
That was super well done.
Yeah.
That was really well done. For anybody that didn't go and they just saw a video or pictures, it doesn't do justice to how high end that felt for a convention.
Well, it doesn't help that we were sitting on the balcony either, Rick.
Yeah, but it was just well done. The way they closed the streets off, how big it was, it felt like I'd been to 13 BotCons, and that I felt like that night was just really well done. They have pulled off a lot. They've got their, I'll get into it when my turn comes, but they've got their faults, but sometimes they pull shit off that just you want to applaud them.
All right, what about the rest of you guys?
Honestly, I mean, I pretty much agree with, both, Dakota and Rick, or you, I'm all over this. Just do it the way FunPub did and, have the events and have a great atmosphere. I mean, both the conventions I went to were, a lot of fun. There was good and bad. I mean, mostly because with it being the last BotCon, everyone was kind of brokenhearted about that. And the fact that there was the craft fair at the 2014, which made things a little awkward. But, memories like that, just have fun, but then you got your awkward or just kind of moments.
Well, I guess I have to say, as we know that Hasbro is going to take back over Transformers altogether, that it's going to be it's not going to be what we want it to be. It's going to be what they want it to be, and the sounds of it, it sounds like it's going to be, they're going to have all the properties as one in one show, except for JoeCon apparently for 2 years. So I mean, we know the days of the box sets are over with. I don't see that happening no more. I think we might get like one exclusive from them to have, and that's about it. So I don't, I'm not going to sit there and be a downer about it, but I don't expect high hopes, to be honest with you, until they show us something.
Well, see, if they're talking about like the, kind of all under a Hasbro banner, except for, G.I. Joe, um, I actually wouldn't mind that because, like, I like Visionaries, I like Mask, I like Transformers, I like G.I. Joe as well. Uh, so to go to a convention to where it's kind of all that, uh, I think would be fun. Because even though there's so much offered at like let's say BotCon, you know, after you go in the next day or just a few hours, like you see the dealer room, you see all the display cases after everything's been put out. There's only so many times you go through there and look at it, and you're looking at the same stuff again.
Yep.
So to kind of have a little bit of variety, and I got to think that it would be a bigger show because you're not only getting the Transformer draw, but you may get the draw from some of these other ones as well. I don't know how many like huge Visionary fans are out there, but you're going to have a little bit of draw from that. Mask, I think that's going to bring in a lot more, depending on what they do with the toys, or if they decide to do cartoons or movies or whatever with them. Is going to bring in that draw. I guess My Little Pony would be in there.
Well, apparently the My Little Pony convention's license holder. There's a My Little Pony conventions and a Brony convention. Both of those license holders still get to hold their license.
Well, good, because I think that. I'm trying to think of the correct way to word this. I think that I can walk up to a G.I. Joe fan because I know G.I. Joe as well as let's say as a Transformer fan, and like we could talk, about our hobbies and stuff like that. Visionary fan can walk up to me and talk about their hobbies, even stuff outside of Hasbro. He-Man, Star Wars. I can have those conversations with them. With ponies and stuff, or Strawberry Shortcake or Rainbow Bride or any of that stuff, I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with those people because I wouldn't know what they're talking about, because whenever I grew up, those were basically, those were girl toys.
I would expect all those properties to still be present at the big Hasbro con. And this is, I'm just going to get primal selfish real quick. Like, why, if none of these other properties can stand on their own, I just don't feel like, why do we, as Transformers fans, have to give up our dedicated convention just to help Mask or Visionaries or ROM or whatever? It's cool that all that's getting, included and all that, but honestly, I still think BotCon could still have been able to stand on its own feet.
Mm-hmm.
I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to incorporate all aspects of the quote unquote family into their show, but it's just I don't know. I don't feel like that's cool.
So
well, it's funny you should mention that since they they said that was the last year's for BotCon and JoeCon, and then at the last minute they gave FunPub 2 more years. So it makes you wonder if they it makes you wonder if Hasbro even really has a plan, period.
I think they did. I just think, like you said, it was 2 years out. And, if there's, 3,000 people willing to sign a G.I. Joe petition, then why not let, Joe have those 2 more years? As far as Transformers, we have that Cybertron Con thing in Hong Kong coming up. And that, okay. But it just, looking at it online, it doesn't have the same draw that a BotCon had. It doesn't have the same, doesn't have all the, okay, you get Peter Cullen and, a couple of guys that worked on Transformers at a show, and we're supposed to do backflips.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, this is one of the, when I was talking to Josh about a topic that I'd like to talk through, this one is such a hot button item, at least, especially for our group. um, you know, and let me preface this too. I watch a lot of listen to a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Um, whether it's BotCon or HasCon or TFCon or Roll Call or Expo, I appreciate all of those venues where you could go and, as a community, talk about, collect together, have a great time together. I just appreciate that those things exist. So I'm not going to bash any of them, and I've listened to a lot of things lately that have been kind of passive aggressive, and it's either this or that. That's the thing is, it doesn't have to be this or that. All the things you guys mentioned about FunPub, absolutely, they did a great job. And the things that they didn't do a great job could be fixed easily by putting a little bit more technology driven people behind the scenes when you're doing technology driven things. Let the people who are making the fiction, the people that are putting together the toys, whether it's a Pete and Lanny, let those people do what they do, cater to their strengths. But as far as like a Hasbro, a HasCon, or what the things that we've kind of been seeing, I'm open to. At first, I was completely closed off to this, but I'm open to, if they were to do a convention, and on Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, they were to do like a Hasbro universe kind of situation where it's like all the other brands, and you can go do whatever it is you like in those 2 days. But it's when Thursday hit, it is official Transformers, and here we go for the rest of the weekend. I'm absolutely cool with that, because one of the things I do when I go to BotCon is I like looking at vintage toys. I like buying vintage toys at a convention. And honestly, every time I come across a dealer and they've got Joe toys, Visionaries, Mask, I'm always looking for something. And I would appreciate it's almost like a lead-in into the actual Transformers, their big brand that's been huge for them, and they have movies and everything.
It's like because Transformers is going to be the headliner. It's like an opening act. Comics have
Absolutely.
it, bands have it.
Yes.
It's the opening act. Get your feet wet. Hey, you can attend. You can not attend.
Absolutely.
And it's the interaction, because maybe you can see what other fans are passionate about as well. But like you said, since Transformers is the headliner, that needs to be your weekend show.
It's the weekend show. And I think if Hasbro gets word of something, just some of our ideas, if you're Hasbro and you're their marketing people and you're behind the scenes looking at numbers, what does this get you? Well, I'll tell you what it gets you. Anybody that's into, whether it's Mask or Joe or Visionaries or Silverhawks, whatever it is, whatever the brand is that you're working on trying to bring back, the people that are already into that and have been waiting with bated breath for something for their group, some of them you're going to bring over to Transformers if they're not already there. So it is like, when I go to see an opening act, a lot of the times I end up, buying the CD or downloading something on iTunes after the concert. Same thing. So I think there's a cross-brand thing that's there, but I think they need to understand that the Transformers community has grown exponentially, and some of that's due to the movies. And honestly, as far as conventions go, FunPub has put on a damn good convention, regardless of the hiccups with technology, big hiccups with technology. Yeah. But I'm really excited I'm very open-minded about the future. The last thing I want to say, though, is what I saw with their CyberCon, was it? The press release that went out.
Yeah, the
and I think
CyberCon thing.
Dakota was kind of touching on this. But when I saw that, and I'm a marketing person myself, when I saw that and I read it, it seemed so modular and robotic. Yeah, it had some bullet points of things that we get at a BotCon, things that we're used to. It had some bullet points for it, but it felt soulless. And I hope it's if it is going to end up being that, I hope that they listen to some of the things that the fans have to say, so that it can be maybe a happy medium of the things that they are just adamant about giving us, and then a little bit of let's listen to them and give them something that they've come to expect from that Transformers community. Because it is kind of a big family. We don't always get along, and sometimes, lines are drawn. But at the end of the day, man, we all have so much in common.
Right.
So, anyway.
Anything else on that topic, guys? Nope. All right. You had another one, right? About
Yep.
stuff.
All right. So, have you ever collected a line of? It could be any figure line, where you've kind of dove in, you got a few figures, you really liked it, but maybe there was a fan favorite figure that they never made. The line might have ended. The line might have turned into another line or an extension, but they just never made that fan favorite figure. And on your shelf, there's something that's lacking. I've got some examples. One example for me is this one goes way back. If you're a Sideshow 1/6 collector, when they were making the Lord of the Rings figure, they never completed the Fellowship, so they never made Gimli or Merry or Pippin. When Hot Toys were doing the Watchmen figures, they did Silk Spectre and the Comedian, and they had a concept ready to go on Rorschach, but he never got made. And then the newest offender for me, this one's the biggest one, and if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably been hearing this name way too much, but I put a lot of time and energy into collecting a lot of the Clone Wars Sideshow stuff. And they're great figures. A lot of them hold up, where some of the older Star Wars figures from like A New Hope or some of their early Empire stuff don't hold up or haven't held up. A lot of the clone stuff, it's got a lot of armored guys and a lot of things that are a little more stylized towards the animated series. But one figure that has never gotten 1/6 love for whatever reason is Ahsoka Tano. So in my collection, and I probably tweet about this once a month, I do not understand why they are making a premium Jango Fett, but yet we've yet to get an Ahsoka in 1/6 scale or a premium format. They have given us,
man.
yeah, they've given us like Cyborg Darth Maul in premium format, and you're gonna have like 2 or 3 versions of Maul out. And I get it, I understand Maul's a badass, and he's kind of tattooed, and he's black and red and angsty. I get it. Ahsoka Tano is like the heart and soul of the Clone Wars, and
she's a fan favorite character.
Yeah, and they've never made her. They've never given her that love. The Black Series is what we got, and I love them for it. But do you guys have any lines that you've collected where you just have been waiting for something, or you hope that they make it, and you want to talk about it?
One recent, and I just kind of brought it up earlier, the Playmates Ninja Turtles Classic line. They come out with the 4 turtles, and you're like, oh, yeah, man, these look good. What else are we going to get? And then they're like, yo, here's Bebop and Rocksteady. You're like, all right, sweet. And then they were like, okay, so, re-releasing the turtles again. You're like, all right, they look different, cool. Movie style. The other ones were tuned, cool. And then we see San Diego Comic-Con, Shring and Credder. Hell yeah. And then they're like, yeah, these things just aren't popular. It's like, what? You can't find these things. And then here they come again, hey, we're coming out with these movie turtles again. Basically, they're the exact same thing with a couple of extra heads, and I bought those as well because I'm just kind of like, look, I want you to see that, we're buying this stuff, even though, I didn't need them. And we know that you've already designed the Predator or the Krang and the Shredder because we've seen them. At least Playmates, give us like the core. Give us, a Casey, a Krang Shredder, a Foot Soldier, an April, and a Splinter. And I think that fans would be happy with that if you just gave us kind of like, that first core that we got when the line first launched, the original vintage line. But nope. So that one is. Someone might be able to correct me, but did they release all the characters for Transformers Animated?
Not all the designs that Derek
not all the designs. Most of your main characters got their release.
They didn't? Okay.
We never officially got that Wasp. There were 1 or 2 that never got it. But mostly it was just the designs that you see in the animated almanac.
Yeah, like the Constructicons, Rat Trap.
Yeah, Dirt
Hot
Boss.
Shot.
Yeah, there's a lot of juicy stuff in there.
For me, oh, you want to go ahead,
Oh,
Dalton?
go ahead, Nick, I'm still thinking.
Okay, for me, I'll be honest, man. It goes to a movie line, and I'm gonna say Dark of the Moon. Whenever it came out, man, I was buying that up in full swing. We never got a proper Dino or Mirage or whatever whatever you want to call him. Yeah, we got that movie advanced version, but that was obviously 3-4 years later from Takara, and it was just a repaint of Sideways from Revenge of the Fallen, and the fact that we never got that just kind of ruined it for me. I mean, we did end up getting Leadfoot, but I don't think it ever saw a States release. I think it was like only Takara from the deluxe scale, not the Human Alliance. But definitely that Dino Mirage, because that was such a cool robot mode. He had a cool Ferrari car mode. Granted, Mattel owns the toy rights for Ferrari cars. They could have totally fudged it like they did with the Lambo brothers in classics, and they never did. And of all the things they could have done that with, I was left kind of baffled as to why.
Yeah.
So for me, man, it would definitely go to Dark of the Moon, and that figure in particular.
See, for me, with the recent resurrection of the Bionicle series, they did all the 6 main Toa figures, but we still have not seen the 7th, Toa character, or Makuta, the main antagonist of the whole thing. Just kind of weird how, they release everything else, but not those two. And, you'd think that they would put it out by now. And talking about it was just probably one of the cooler looking of the 7 Toa. Just gold, just all gold armor, really nice looking mask. Kind of sucks.
Mine would have to be G.I. Joe Renegades. We never finished getting figures or vehicles for them because of them canceling the line on that.
Hmm. Did they ever make the van, like the van from like the first episode that right on through? They didn't, did they?
No, they did they showed production parts of it
Mm.
at the convention, but they never mass produced it. They never got that far. They barely even put out a season 2 of that TV show because apparently the
Yeah.
ratings were so horrible in the first season. I think they just gave us a season 2 to shut a lot of people up.
Things got hard around that time for a few of those animated shows. I know, like the Tron
Thundercats?
show. Yeah, Thundercats, Tron, and Renegades all kind of suffered around the exact same time.
Renegades was on the Hub Network, though, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was.
When did it air? How close did it air in approximation to Transformers Prime? Because I think that may have.
They were mirrored. They were right on the same schedule, I think. But
So they were-
Renegades went out. I think maybe Transformers started a couple months before Renegades did. I mean, they kind of mirrored them together to get the same fan base, but they just didn't get it from G.I. Joe, I don't think.
So
And it was really a good series.
They never stuck them together, though. Like, they never kept them airing together.
No, Renegades went out before Prime finished the series out. When they finished it out, but
No. I meant like showtimes. Like, like you watch Renegades and then Transformers Prime, or Transformers Prime.
Oh, yeah,
on
I
the same
think
day.
there for a little bit. Renegades was on the same day, I think, but that might have been the first season. Then after that, it got bumped somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever go to Easy Mart, look in their little $4.99 section, you'll find Renegades. I know I see it at my Easy Mart all the time. $5, pick it up and watch it. It's a real good show. It really is.
The folks that were tuning in for Prime were coming off the movies. I mean, they even catered the designs of those characters so that the people who were even remotely familiar with the movies were going to tune in. But for Joe, here we are back at that same topic where's the fiction? Where's the new fiction? How do we get like kids today even aware of it? If you're not already a parent and your kids are around your collection or you're seeing it somewhere, there's not a whole lot of good fiction. Transformers, you can pick your flavor. I mean, I've got a whole shelf of Transformer flavors. But Joe, it's a little hard. It's still a little harder.
Joe's going to be hard, period.
Well, going on to what we were talking about, where a line that just never completed or anything like that. Do you know, for a long time, the company that scares me is Matty Collector, because they're for a while they haven't done it on this new Filmation subline. They haven't done it on the Thundercats, but they did it during the just regular classics. Every year they would hold back key characters so that they could sell you on the next year's sub, put in a bunch of characters that maybe showed up in one episode for like 10 seconds, a bunch of those guys, and make you buy the sub. And then they had this thermometer, and if you didn't hit it, then hey, they're just going to cancel the line. So it put collectors in a bad spot, because what if you don't hit it? I don't know how much of that is just BS or scare tactics and stuff like that, but there was still key characters they were holding back because, hey, we're going to plan on releasing these this year, these the next year, and these the next year, where you might have not even made it that far. Where I think now you kind of got just about everybody. There's still some minor characters and stuff out there, but Matty Collector scares me now that I'm getting into the Filmation or the 2.0 style Master of the Universe, the Thundercats. I want them to release all of them. I even want those crazy. I want to get a. Is it the Mad Gobbler?
Yeah, something like that. I know exactly
or
what you're
Bobber
talking
or
about.
something like that.
Yeah.
There's like maybe like I don't know, like 6 of them or something in existence. Never released. What's the drill guy? That he's like super rare as well. So I want all those, and they were actually planning on releasing that driller. Is it driller? Releasing him for that other Thundercats line that was supported by the cartoon, but because they didn't continue on with the cartoon, they didn't continue on with the toys, so you never got them.
So what I'm hearing from you is you're going to troop build the Burbles. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Oh, I will, yeah, because I mean there was a bunch of them. So I'm going to treat it just like the Star Wars line. I'm going to buy I get the sub, I buy every single one of them, and ones that are troop builders, I'm going to buy at least 3 of them. So like all my stormtroopers, every single one of them, I have at least 3 or more. Because I figured that's kind of like a nice little cool number.
It's a good medium, yeah.
I'm like, one's kind of like the commander of his little squad, and the other 2 are kind of whatever. I don't know. But Matty Collector, they scare the crap out of me.
They go deep. Stuff. They go super deep on stuff. I'm looking behind, and I'm seeing all my Motu stuff right now, and they went deeper than I expected them to. And anyway.
Yeah, people are still mad about them not releasing the Snake Mountain.
I
hope we get some kind of surprise at San Diego Comic-Con where they're just like, guess what, guys? We took the electronics out, we scaled it down just a little bit.
Yep.
Coming out.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
You can ditch the Bluetooth electronics thing because that thing's probably $50 on its own.
I'll do the voice. That's fine. Whatever. Have no problem making my own voices.
Yeah, I mean, because it's aimed at adult collectors. So how many of us are going to be doing that thing all the time anyway?
Yeah. Yep.
So, did you have anything else?
That's it from me.
Nope. All right, so we're going to, this is something that I put it on Twitter, a poll. I said, what film are you looking forward to the most, Star Wars Rogue One or Transformers 5 The Last Night? On Twitter, Star Wars Rogue One won by like 60-something%. So, but you guys, which one are you more excited about? probably see both, but which one?
Transformers.
Yeah, definitely Transformers for me.
Why? Because you want to see that Squeaks guy?
Yes, I'm so turned on by that character. That's that's the next wheelie for me right there, buddy.
Oh, God.
He's God,
Yeah, he.
what's the mask guy? What's his name?
T-Bob.
T-Bob. Yeah.
Mike, you
It's
need one. You need a real Squeaks that you can ride around like T-Bob.
oh God, man.
Squeak, 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 squeak. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Star Wars, I am a Star Wars fan to a certain degree, but nothing will outweigh my Transformer fandom. But I mean, I'll watch a Star Wars film. Will I go out and buy every single thing they own? No. Even when we went to, uh, what was that, Hollywood Studios, about 50% of Hollywood Studios is nothing but Star Wars. I was sending Rich and Josh, I'll send you all pictures of everything I saw. Nothing but Star Wars. I mean, it was a lot of Star Wars. I mean, great. It's cool to see that stuff. But I mean, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan by any means. But I mean, it's cool for you guys who love it. But I mean, like I said, I mean, good luck with y'all's moving, I guess, since they're giving y'all one every year for the next
One
7
every year.
years.
Yeah,
Wow.
because this Rogue One is based on because whenever you watch New Hope, Episode 4, the first and original, they talk about the plans to the Death Star we have, and it was like a lot of good people lost their life, so that we could bring this information to you. You know, the people they're talking about are the people that are our heroes in Rogue One. So we get to see that whole story and how it goes.
So everyone
And
dies.
that's cool that y'all are getting the back. Everyone does.
You're gonna have Darth Vader as well. James Earl Jones is coming back to voice him. Um, obviously no Jar Jar, so that's good.
Thank
The
God.
Death Star, because it's about the Death Star. So you have a way, because we know that they keep on liking to put the Death Star in there, or like in the new one, like, hey, it's the Star Killer base. It's even bigger than the Death Star. So it's like, these planet weapon things. Now you can have the Death Star, and it actually makes sense that it's in there. I guess my reason for not Transformers 5 is because I think I'm a little worn out with the Michael Bay Bayformers. I've kind of I think I've pushed it about as far as I can go with it.
See, for me,
Well, if it wasn't for Michael Bay, who would it be?
I would say reboot the whole thing.
no. See, to me, I think they have plenty that they've already built on. But for me, I'm really digging. Supposedly Megatron is the three-headed dragon that we see, and I'm just like, man, we're one more movie closer to live-action Beast Wars. So,
What
and
thought those
I've
might
said
be the Terracons or something.
I've said time and time again, I don't care if Michael Bay directs my Beast Wars movie. That's fine. But I don't know. I'm kind of. I think the Star Wars hype was cool for a little while. Now it just feels overplayed to me, and I don't know.
Star Wars hype's been going around since the late '70s, man.
I know, and it's pretty damn overplayed at this point, I think.
Dude, it
Go
was
to
the
Disney.
biggest.
You'll
It
see
was
how
the
overplayed
last
it is
year. It was
down
the
there.
biggest movie. It was the biggest movie.
I mean, that's fine, dude. That's perfect. Like that's, man, I'm really proud of you, Star Wars. You had the biggest movie, but I don't know. I'm just not that into it.
It
Like
took them
it's
40
cool.
years to get that best movie ever.
Yeah, I mean it's neat. I like it. I like watching it. I mean, I grew up on the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
But that's about it for me.
And seriously, I'm not taking a diss just because of Michael Bay, because he did a movie not too long ago, was 13 hours or something like that, or you know what I'm talking about? Is that what it's called? 13
Based
hours?
on the Benghazi stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was excellent.
The problem is with the writers,
It
and I
is.
don't really think it's with Michael Bay. I think he's a good director. He's got the best digital effects studio in the business, and
There's a lot of things that Michael Bay has shot. I know he gets a bad rap, but um, there's a lot of beautiful scenes that that man has shot as far as like being behind the scenes and making a scene work. He can do it. He's capable of doing it. And I know he's mostly known for explosions and things like that. But anyway, you know, I'm looking forward to the Star Wars film just because you know they put a lot of time into getting a lot of great writers, very different styles. But the one thing all the writers have in common is they know how to tell a story and emotionally pull you in. And they know how to work an ensemble cast with characters. A lot of the things we like about More Than Meets the Eye and James Roberts, well, James Roberts has said before, he grew up with those things. He draws from those things, whether it's Buffy or Doctor Who or any of those ensemble casts where you have an emotional pull and the characterization is top notch. I think Star Wars has done a good job of starting this new world of not just great effects and how to make a movie, but also the characterization. And you know, for me, some of that started with the Clone Wars stuff that Filoni and his team were doing, and is continuing into Rebels. Rebels is really well done. So I feel really good about they've hired people whose sole purpose too is to make sure that all of everything is connected. So a character from Clone Wars is going to be in Rogue One. That's cool. I mean, they're really taking a look at the details and making sure everything is connected. A lot of the stuff that they're doing is stuff that we bitch about when it comes to Transformers. They've been kind of lazy as far as connecting all of those things, as far as the movies and things like that. And you know, I like the movies. I thought that the first movie had a lot of heart. I thought that was it was the first one, so yeah, I was seeing Prime transform for the first time, and the alleyway scene and the music was well done, absolutely. But that movie came close to having a bigger heart than just a film about robots. I think the comics get it right, but they just haven't gotten it right in the Bay movies. But I would like to see him stay on as a consultant on the franchise, but just like they've got new writers coming in. We might be in for a brand new day. I don't know. I do have high hopes for it. I'm not going to go in with low expectations like I do for like a Turtles movie. My expectations, because they're changing the process a little bit, my expectations are still in there where I want a good movie. I'm going to expect it to be good. So I do have hopes for it. And I think they are making some changes behind the scenes, some good and some bad. Maybe bad for the convention, maybe good for the movie. But for me, Star Wars still has the films. They're on their way. They're paving that emotional pull and the characterization. They care about the details and the connected universe. So
With TF5, I mean, because we know basically kind of what the story kind of evolves around in Rogue One, but TF5, we just see a billboard and we see some kind of like dragon heads. What do you want to see out of TF5? Me personally, he's him taking off into space like that, or in the sky at the end of TF4. I'd like to see him go find the Quintessons, and maybe the Quintessons are the ones that hired Lockdown, and then we remember it in season 3 of G1, to where the first people that we see kind of like bossing the Terracons around are the Quintessons, so he kind of has them. So and I think it's also time that you bring back a combiner again. And Transformers. I mean, you did that in, what was it, the second one?
yeah.
Yeah, that horrible looking Devastator. But maybe
It was anatomically correct.
Maybe you get this one right. Something that we would like a lot more. But maybe you have a Computron and an Abominus.
I'd love to see Abominus. I think that'd be really cool.
you bring in the quintessence and stuff like that. I just think something like that would be cool. Um, and fresh, and it's not your it's Bumblebee, Ironhide, and Starscream. It's not the names that everybody knows. People that don't even watch Transformers, they know those names. It's just part of pop culture. But to bring in some other new characters like that, I think would be good.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, as little as possible of Prime and Bumblebee, and I'm good. I mean, you brought up More Than Meets the Eye earlier. That's one of the things that I like so much about that comic is that there's no Optimus Prime, except for like Dark Cybertron, but that was a crossover event. But yeah, I mean, I expect we'll see it, but I am. I expect we'll see it, but I don't know. I guess uh, my biggest hopes for it are definitely the inclusion of more beast formers, be they organic or or techno or whatever.
Oh, like Steeljaw that he threw in there that were Decepticons, but were actually Autobot tapes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A lot of
Talking
people
about
in the chat are
that
saying
new
Unicron.
RID.
A lot of people they're saying Unicron, but man, that would be expensive to.
They have a lot to get right first before they tackle Unicron. That's my personal opinion.
I kind of you look at Unicron kind of like a Thanos and the Marvel thing, like it's taken them
Absolutely.
a long time to build up to that. That's the
Yep.
way I kind of think Unicron is, because if you throw him in now, I mean, then what's after that?
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's going to be kind of like how it was in Prime. End of season 1.
Yeah.
And then it's really it until the Beast, the Retcons Rising.
That's a great point, Josh. If they were to take like the movies that they're about to come out with the writers' room that they put together, and have 4 or 5 of these movies, and then they all connect to what is all of these different teams battling Unicron, I'd be really into that. Like if we got like the Hot Rod team, it doesn't need to be More Than Meets the Eye. Wouldn't hurt if it was, but it doesn't have to be. I'd love to see like a bunch of different factions. All connected with that common enemy. I'd love to see that. That way we can get a lot of different flavors, and it would also give you a way to bring in, kind of like they're doing with the Till All Are One and the Windblade stuff, bring in some of Dakota's Beast Wars characters too.
And my Wreckers, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
We'll
mean,
be
you could have, like you said, like you have, this one team and this, so you got your Hot Rod Cuts Blurs over there, and your Springer, maybe he's one of those characters that fluctuates back and forth. He goes to records, you get those guys. You tell some kind of side story, but at the end, you're kind of building up to a Unicron. I think that would bring more interest. I mean, obviously, Marvel's doing this, and they're doing pretty good. I don't think anyone could look at Marvel and say, hey, you guys are failing at the box office.
Yeah.
So why not do it with Transformers that's already been popular?
Yeah, talking about like things you want to see. There's always like the characterization, the writers' room, getting those things straight and connecting the universe. That's on one side, but the kid in me would still like to see, a Michael Bay shot scene where you're getting stuff like cool scenes, like in the animated Transformers movie with the Hot Rod scene where he's going to Lookout Mountain. That scene, I mean, it's so well done. Everybody loves it. I would like to see Bay do a scene where Ultra Magnus is on the freeway. We know he does freeway scenes really well, from Bad Boys to any of the Transformers movies. Ultra Magnus is on the freeway. He's loaded down with cars, and all of them start to come off the back of him, and they're all heading into battle. Like, stuff that makes you excited as a kid. Michael Bay could shoot the hell out of that.
Yeah,
I think it would be amazing.
Yeah,
So
I can see that, just the trailer opening, and as he's going, just then they just swarming out ahead of him.
Yeah, the thing I like about Transformers that I'm still drawn to, and I think Derek and that crew over on Animated was starting to do it. With the Transwarped episode. At the beginning of the episode, he introduces this hot rod team, but all of them had superpowers or mutant powers kind of thing, where Cyclonus was actually doing a cyclone, and Ironhide actually was iron. The thing that I like about Transformers is they all have something. The Masterpiece line does it well. They all have like something that's their thing, their little niche. You know, in Magnus, he carries all the cars, but having him bring the troops into battle, that's shooting a scene with the character in mind and coming up with a cool action for him to do.
It also falls into him being a load bearer, Minimus Ambus being the load bearer.
Yes.
That he is. You know, just all that kind of outlier 0.1%er stuff as well. That'd be all great stuff to travel down you know, instead of, and my biggest issue with the Transformers movies is somebody's got to freaking die at the end of it. You know, it's got to be Megatron, or it's got to be, you know, locked. Someone's, you know, it can't be. Well, they'll scurry off and they'll be trouble for another day. We got the exception with Galvatron, but
yeah, if they just brought in Waspinator, Dakota, there's the answer.
Ooh,
dude, yeah, he never dies.
Yep. Like I said, my expectations for the Transformers movie, there's so much stuff that I still want to see. There's a ton of stuff that I want to see, so I am excited about it, but I think Rogue One is looking really solid so far.
All right, got some video game movie questions here. So Warcraft came out not too long ago. Huge in China. Maybe not so much over here and other places, but obviously so big in China that there's obviously going to be a sequel. But where does the Warcraft movie rank among other video game-based movies that are currently out?
I didn't even feel the need to go see the Warcraft movie, so
I haven't gotten to see it yet.
All right, well,
it didn't look all that great to me.
I don't know anything about Warcraft. I think my only experience with Warcraft is I think it was Warcraft 2, like a demo was in DOS, where you got to play like 2 levels, and then it was like buy the game, and I was like no. But that's the only time I ever played Warcraft. So to me, it was like watching kind of just a fantasy, because I like fantasy stuff like Willow and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll give it a try. It was all right, but there hasn't been a whole lot of popular movies as far as video game movies. Name a few here: Street Fighter. Yeah. Resident Evil. I actually, I kind of like the Resident Evil ones. I've actually binge watched them here lately because of the upcoming one. Mario Brothers.
Oh,
Remember
God.
that one?
Hey, Mario Brothers was a classic, buddy. Don't you be ditching the Plumber Brothers. Don't be leave the Plumber Brothers alone.
That Koopa though. Let's see, Angelina Jolie Tomb Raiders. I guess they were all right for their time, but it's not really the Tomb Raider I wanted. Double Dragon, Blood Rain, Dead or Alive, Wing Commander. I just recently watched Wing Commander. That's on Netflix streaming. That is Freddie Prinze Jr.'s in that. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Mortal Kombat. Everybody's seen Mortal Kombat movies. Both of them, right?
It was bad though, but it was a good movie to a degree.
Yeah, you know what? I think the thing I liked about it the most was I think it had a pretty cool soundtrack.
Bum 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 bum. Yeah,
Dude,
I remember
yeah,
the soundtrack.
you just start jamming to it.
I remember that.
Then you had some of the kind of, I guess, scarier type movies. You know, they'll always do like Silent Hill, Doom. I remember Doom, which was interesting, is at the end they went
all first person.
First
I
person.
thought that was so cool.
I thought it was cool. I recently watched the Hardcore Henry, and dude, I got such a headache from the jerking back and forth. I was like, dude, I gotta pause this and like come back to it. You know, so. Max Payne, Hitman, Agent 47. I guess those are okay. Need for Speed. Did anyone watch that?
I didn't even know they made a Need
I
for Speed.
did.
It's
Yeah,
I
got
thought it was just called
Hey,
Fast
haven't
and
seen it.
Furious.
what's the guy from? Is it Ryan Paul? The guy from Breaking Bad? I don't know, the kid or whatever. He's in it. It was stupid. It was stupid. But Prince of Persia, Jake Gyllenhaal, I like that one.
That one's
Again,
really good.
I didn't
fantasy.
see it.
You
Is it
know what?
good?
As far as video game movies go, I would say it was the best one.
Really?
Yeah. So it actually had some fantasy. I don't think I've ever played the game Prince of Persia, but it's just far as a fantasy, kind of out in Egypt and stuff like that, and pyramids and stuff. I think that stuff's cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can move on to the next one because now this is like, what are you looking forward to the most? And I know, Rick, you and we played these games. The Last of Us,
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed. No date on The Last of Us yet, but Assassin's Creed, that's coming out December 21st, 2016. The final Resident Evil is coming out January 27th, 2017. An Uncharted movie is coming out June 30th of 2017, and a new Tomb Raider is coming out in March 16th of 2018. Out of those, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Who,
Uh,
who did they cast for Nathan Drake? Have they already cast it?
I don't think I don't know if they've cast that yet, but you know who I was watching Firefly or
Yeah.
rewatching it, and I was just like, this if they would have done this like so much longer ago, this was Nathan Drake right here. What is it, Nathan?
Nathan
Yeah.
Fillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, if that's where Naughty Dog, did they just look at this guy and like, that's gonna be Nathan Drake?
Yeah. There's a lot of him in there. I see that. Yeah. I feel like Erica and I were watching something recently, and I was like, "Holy God, that's Nathan Drake!" Like, God, did they base it on? I don't know if it was him or someone else, but I have to think about it.
Dude, for me, it would have to be Assassin's Creed. The actor that they get in that, the dude that played Magneto, I don't know his name.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, yeah, he's such a great actor, man. I love, I loved him in Prometheus, and obviously I think he's a fantastic Magneto. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the final Resident Evil just because I've seen all the movies, and I'm just kind of anticipating, like, okay, let's let the story in so I can be good.
Yeah. I binge watched them and Underworld because they have their
Oh,
final one coming up. I was like, all right, let's get these over with.
See, I think I'm looking forward to The Last of Us most because I've just heard so many good things about that game. Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but looks like something that could be pretty good for like a survival type story.
yeah.
The whole zombie and everything.
Yeah, I like all these on this list. Rick, did you say one
Yeah.
already?
Well, I played through Last of Us, and I thought that was really well done. Movie-wise, I really like the new Tomb Raider. I've always been a Tomb Raider fan. I've always liked the Tomb Raider games. I like the explorations stuff, and some of the games are better than others, but I think I like the newest one the best. The only problem for me with that is then Uncharted came out, and I played through Tomb Raider. It's like, yeah, it was all Team Lara. Then I played Uncharted, and God, that game is so good. Like, it's for me. I went out and actually waited on the PS4. I bought my Xbox probably like a year after it came out, and I waited on the PS4 until the week that Uncharted came out. And that week after I played it for a few days, finished it, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, it was absolutely worth the purchase of the system just to play through that game and get that thing that I wanted out of it. And I felt really satisfied with it. And I'm looking forward to the Tomb Raider movie, but probably Uncharted. I just kind of want to see like what they do with that, and are there some original things that they can bring into it that we haven't seen in the game, or always that first one. I want to see how that is.
Yeah. So have you played Uncharted 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, played them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did with the PS3. I was like, oh, now they're doing this Uncharted 2 that comes with PS3. I was like, now I'll break down and buy it. And then I was like, dude, this is my primary system.
Yeah.
I love that game. I think 2 is still my favorite.
It's a good
Um,
game.
I would say the Tomb Raider as well, just because I really like the actress that they cast as Laura. Um, and as long as they do it the way that the newest games, I still haven't played the newest game because I don't have Xbox and it's exclusive there for I don't know what 5 more months. Then I can finally get my hands on it. So I haven't watched any video or anything of it. I've just been trying to keep myself spoiler free.
Yeah.
But the first game that they released on it, man, I loved that game. I thought it was beautiful, and that's a lot of these games because a lot of them we're talking about, Naughty Dog or Tomb Raider. It's kind of like that style, where not only do I want a good story and writing, but I want to see some like amazing set pieces, because that's kind of what makes those games.
Absolutely. Those two games especially, whether it's Nathan or Laura, they're always walking into a room and you get that expanded view of. They do a really good job, especially now, with taking you into that world and that world that you're about to explore. You always get those moments. Yeah, at some point, the game, where we are in the games now, and it keeps getting small. I don't know if I'll live to see it, but it's the gap between what's the movie that you're going to see at the theater and what's the game you're playing at home. Man, that gap is starting to come down every few years.
All right, I got I guess two here. One you guys were kind of talking about earlier, so I figured this would be the perfect time to kind of get into that. And then one, if we have time for it, is the torturing your figures and stuff like that. That I know that Mike said he wanted to answer that, so don't get to that one last week. First one here. What the hell is Pokemon Go? I see it on social media. People talking about it. Every time I look at some of my friends on Instagram, and they're just like, I don't know, they're like in their yard, and then I had no idea because it looked like, I'm like, you just Photoshop this little thing on the picture of in your yard? Like, what are you doing? Uh,
What I
someone's
want
doing
to
it.
say about Pokemon Go, I can't say in front of children right now. I cannot stand people who are playing this. The whole concept of it is ridiculous. And like we talked about earlier, someone either got really injured or they died. I can't remember what it was. They fell off a cliff trying to catch this imaginary thing. So I mean, the government needs to shut this down.
Well, hey, like it's kind of
That's the part that I want to get into.
it's kind of it's,
Follow
here's
that
I'll
up.
call my congressman right now. Damn it!
here's the deal. Like, I view it as this way for cell phone companies to like bend you over and like force themselves on you for going over your data plan. Because I recently had to deal with that, man. My phone used like 42 gigs of background data, which is just ridiculous. And AT&T billed me $600 for it, $600 extra.
Are you
So
playing the game, Dakota?
no,
Dakota,
that's just it.
Oh,
those sites usually let you just stream it. You don't have to download the video. You know that, right?
Yeah. So man, no, yeah,
go
I had to do,
to the 1-800 numbers. It's cheaper.
I mean, here's the deal though. Like, I mean, I had to go to the AT&T store. I had to be like, look, and the tech he was like, okay, yeah, I'm confirming that there's no freaking way possible. But I've kind of view that. I view it as a money grab for for your various phone carriers, especially those that used to have unlimited data and don't have it anymore. Screw you, AT&T. But I think it's, I mean, you look at this. This is basically the government paying for surveillance, like not paying for surveillance. I mean, we're surveying the entire freaking country for free. I mean, because everyone's taking all these pictures. They're, posting all their locations.
Yeah, well, they're
It is,
geotagging themselves as well, leaving the GPS on. Uh, Real quick, Jonathan McKnight says 42 gigs of data. Damn, Dakota, that's a lot of hentai.
it's not as much as you would think. Not as much as you would think. I've been home a lot lately, so.
Nothing wrong with putting your bikini on and kissing those robots, Dakota.
I'm glad you accept my lifestyle, Rick. Some people in here would shame it. Josh.
So I believe that
see, people are saying here like this one.
I truly believe. I'm like, you know what? The NSA is looking at this and being like, dude, like, what were all these people bitching about? Like privacy. We don't want you to know what we're doing and going and da 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 da. And then here they are, like, always broadcasting it and putting it out there where they are. To me, the NSA is just like, dude, we're all in on this Pokemon Go thing.
And not only that, but man, I've been like reading stories and watching like little news clips and videos. Like someone found like a group of like I guess young adults or kids or whatever. They found a fully loaded gun just sitting like in a little shrubbery area. Whenever they were going to catch something, I don't know what it was. I mean, I have a lot of friends like locally that are into Pokemon, so it's that's all I hear about. All my friends on Facebook damn near play it. But then locally, and I was telling you guys about this before we went live. Locally, because apparently like downtown where I live was it's not a dead area like as far as people going and doing things. But as soon as Pokemon Go hit, it livened up like out of nowhere. Of course, there were some protests with some things going on in the world going down. Whenever it went live, and that had a lot of action downtown as well. But there were a lot of people down there playing freaking Pokemon Go. And, I'll be at restaurants or I'll be at a bar, and someone will just come running out like, no, I got to go catch the Squirtle. And I'm like, wait, what? And somebody actually caught this on camera. The police department, the city police department, was driving around downtown playing the Pokemon theme song over their loudspeakers, because that's how many people just go down there to look for Pokemon.
It's crazy.
Here's the thing: is I've heard so many stories. There was one where that guy said that he was streaming and he recorded a murder, which I believe got turned out to be a hoax and stuff. But there's been people that have walked off cliffs and stuff like that, that have injured themselves or killed themselves. I've heard that people have even broken into people's backyards to get these Pokemon, which I tell you, man, it would be stupid of you to break into my place, my backyard. So, I just, like, people are trespassing to get
some,
these things.
and I would like to point out, there are some people like they're kind enough, like there've been stories of people that will knock on other people's doors, like, hey, you got a Pokemon in your backyard, I want to catch, do you mind? And some of them are funny, and the person's like, I just slammed the door in their face, went to my backyard and caught the Pikachu, like, so. Some people are being polite about it. Some people are just outright, like you said, trespassing, hopping fences, doing whatever.
I don't know a lot about I'm not doing it, so I don't know a lot about what Nintendo has done, or who puts it as a Nintendo. Who puts Pokemon out? What's the company?
I think someone said Google. It's Google, isn't it?
Well, Nintendo Nintendo stock has, I forget how much it's done something ridiculous, like, over in the past week. Like, if you had Nintendo stock, you're making money now.
Whoever's behind the scenes and putting all the product out and making the money, they need to make sure, and maybe they are, that they have a safety campaign that they've spent equal amount of money investing into to make sure that these things aren't happening. Maybe they did do it, but it sounds like a lot of this stuff just needs to be put out there. I'm one of these people where, my house is full of toys. I have a hard time throwing stones So if people are into Pokemon, that's their thing. More power. Just respect people. It's all those things that it's not so much. When people are out and they find a gun or they happen upon a crime, those things exist. It's not Pokemon's fault. They just exist. That's our world. You need to be aware. But whoever the company is putting it out, they need to. They should have had a campaign out before it launched. Maybe they're getting smarter, finding out what's going on now. But for me, it's just about if you're going to do something like that, you need to make sure that you have some safety stuff
Well, also
marketed as well.
Safety for yourself, the individual, because a lot
Yeah.
of criminals have been using this to lure people there, and they end up getting robbed and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's sort of like what happens when a cool idea gets put into the real world that we live in. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also some really cool things that are happening. Like I think the Red Cross locally, or a couple of other charity organizations are theming it around. You come and you donate this, and you'll get something. I don't know if it's on the game. Some stuff is like digital. Some stuff is like physical, just little things here and there, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it gets people kind of out and about and doing stuff, and that's all well and good. But I mean, this ain't the 20s, so.
Well,
Yeah, you remember back when the word. Do you remember back in the time where we worried about the H-bomb? Now we're worried about Pokemon guys running around.
What's the premise of the game anyway? So you just walk around and then like, hey, you capture this thing. Well, what do you do when you capture it? Because from what I can remember, because my brother I think played it, one of my younger brothers, and it was a card game, and it was like my cards better. It was kind of like Spades, I guess.
Well, I had the cards growing up, but I never played the card game. I always played it on the Game Boy Color, and it was fun. It was basically what you're doing now is what you were doing, on the Game Boy Color. It's just now it's the world and not a world built inside this little Game Boy game. But you actually in the video game, you would capture them, you'd make them fight, all this other inhumane stuff to make them stronger. I'm sure PETA's going to be right on this pretty quick. And you level them up, you beat other people, and that was it. Like that was the whole premise.
So you actually do play cards?
No, it wasn't cards. You actually went and got the little monsters.
Well, I mean, when you get the monster, what do you do? You just keep on getting more monsters?
Yeah,
don't they build them up? Don't you build them up?
You can carry like 6 on you at a time, and then you can have any of your other ones. They're stored in like a little computer.
Is that why you had
I'm explaining it very poorly, but that's basically that's the nuts and bolts of it. Like the games on the Game Boys, dude, those were fun, man. I loved them. I even whenever I got my laptop, I downloaded an emulator just to play those again.
I feel like I played a version. I want to say I can't remember what Nintendo it was on. I can't remember what was out then, but I do remember playing maybe whatever the first one was.
Yeah.
I can say that I've never played Pokemon or anything like that. Like I've never played Magic the Gathering or any of that stuff. I never interest me. All right, are we done with Pokemon?
I hope so.
The real question is.
I didn't understand it, but I mean, there's obviously a lot of, like Rick said, like you're taking something that you intended to be fun, but now you're inserting it into a world where stuff, a lot of bad stuff happens, and like you just can't. Oh, I'm gonna wonder. I even heard people breaking into cemeteries and stuff like that around here, to where they've actually had to put it out there like, hey, cops are going to be coming by and you will be arrested for trespassing, because these people are climbing fences in cemeteries and stuff like that in this area. So.
Yeah, I think that's the bad extreme of this whole thing is just people who will do anything to catch their Pokemon.
It would be like for us, for the Transformer collectors. Imagine if when Titans Return released, it wasn't in online stores. They just dropped parachutes down, and the figures just landed somewhere, and all of us are scrambling to go get it. If they did it that way, guaranteed some of us would be climbing damn fences.
Yeah.
You imagine me trying to climb a fence, first of all.
I mean, I would figure, Rick, guys like you and me, we're a
We'll
little,
team up.
heavier,
All right.
but we're a little smarter, so we come with the bolt cutters. Shut that fence down.
There you go.
All right. Well,
There.
we've almost gone an hour and a half, and I believe all the other topics are a little bit longer. So we'll just, continue this next week, so we can go ahead and sign off. Dakota, why don't you tell people where they can find you, man?
You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
Dalton, just go down the line.
Find me pretty much everywhere at Daltonians TFs. I'll get my logo bar working, but still can't figure that shit out.
All right, Mike.
You can find me on TFW, His Tank, Twitter. Eventually, one of these days, I'll get a name where it all goes together like the rest of y'all, where I'm not shooting from here, or there. But, you can find me anywhere just about.
All right, and Rick.
Yep. You can find me exclusively on Twitter as ShatterGlassJazz.
All right, and you can find me G1Xtron everywhere except for the Facebook page is the G1Xtron. We had a Cybercast show where we just looked at all the reveals and stuff like that in this week's news. So if you want to go check that out, it's in video form on G1Xtron YouTube channel. If you guys want to chat offline, I will put the link on my Facebook page, the G1Xtron. Actually, here, I'll just put it in the chat for you.
Man of the people.
Let's see if it will paste. There you go. So just click on that if you want to join, and you can hang out offline. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Peace.